The cartographer and the comet Alara lived her life by lines. As a meticulous cartographer in a dusty, sun-drenched coastal town, her world was one of precise measurements, dotted elevations, and neatly labeled coastlines. She saw patterns in the chaos of nature, translating the unruly earth into the orderly language of a map. Her greatest treasure was a partially finished map of a mythical, isolated island said to float just beyond the horizon, a place of pure, untamed wilderness. One blustery October evening, as she was painstakingly inking a latitude line, a commotion erupted outside her office. A small crowd had gathered around a man who had apparently sailed in on a battered, oddly shaped schooner. He was unlike anyone Alara had ever seen, dressed in linen that smelled faintly of salt and wood smoke, with eyes the color of the deep, restless ocean, and a smile that seemed to challenge the very concept of gravity. His name was Kale. Kale wasn't a sailor. He was an astronomer, a dedicated chaser of celestial phenomena. He had come to this remote coast because it was one of the few places in the world where he could clearly observe the trajectory of a rare, non-periodic comet, the Heart's Ember, due to streak across the sky in a week's time. Their first meeting was an immediate, jarring collision of their two worlds. "Your charts," Kale said, pointing a calloused finger at the coastline Alara had just finished, "they are all wrong." Alara bristled. "Sir, those lines have been verified for 200 years. They are accurate to the millimeter." Kyle laughed, a sound like wind chimes. "Yes, they show where the land was, but the earth is a living thing, changing, breathing. Look." He dragged her to the window. "A new sandbar is forming here. A cliff face has eroded there. Your maps are beautiful history, miss, but they are not the truth of this moment." Alara, who respected truth above all things, was stunned Kale saw the world not as a fixed grid, but as a continuous event. They began a peculiar, intense collaboration. Kale needed Alara's precision to calculate the exact angular position of his comet, and Alara needed Kale's perspective to finish her mythical map. He would talk about the infinite, unbound distance between stars, while she lectured him on the finite, tangible measure of a degree of longitude. One day, Kale found Alara staring wistfully at the blank center of her mythical island map. "Why is this island so important?" he asked. "Because it's a place without boundaries, Kale," she admitted, tracing the faint outline of the uncharted coast. "It's the ultimate X on the map, but a map requires lines, and I don't know what lines to draw when the place itself is a dream." Kale gently took the compass from her hand. "Don't draw the land, Alara. Draw the sky. The island is only real because the stars shine above it. The map isn't what is fixed. It's what you discover." As the days sped towards the comet's arrival, they spent their nights on Kale's boat, measuring angles under the vast, overwhelming dome of the universe. Alara, who had always felt comfort in the terrestrial, started feeling a wild, wonderful pull towards the celestial. She learned to read the sky's chaos, and Kale, in turn, began to appreciate the simple, profound beauty of a perfectly straight, hand-inked line. The night of the Heart's Ember arrived, clear and cold. They stood on the highest dune, their calculations scattered around them. "It should be now," Kale whispered, his voice thick with anticipation. And then it appeared. Not a small streak, but a magnificent, fiery spectacle, a brushstroke of impossible crimson light against the velvet black, the Heart's Ember. It wasn't orderly. It wasn't predictable. It was magnificent and fleeting. In that brilliant light, their worlds merged. Alara realized that Kale wasn't just chasing a comet. He was chasing the beautiful, transient moment, the ultimate moving X that couldn't be charted. Only experienced Kale turned to her, the comet's light illuminating the awe in his eyes. "It's not about the distance or the lines, Alara," he said, his voice barely a breath. "It's about the moment we share the light." He reached for her, and she stepped out of her perfectly measured world and into the grand, uncharted space between them. They kissed, a beautiful, unexpected collision of the earthbound and the sky-gazing. Kale stayed for 2 more months, long enough for the seasons to shift. He taught her that the truest maps are drawn by memory and emotion, and she taught him that even the wildest star follows an understandable, elegant path. When Cale had to leave to follow the next celestial event, Ilara didn't beg him to stay. She knew his journey was boundless. Instead, she gifted him the map of the mythical island. It was no longer blank. In the center, she hadn't drawn coastlines or mountains. She had drawn the elegant, swooping arc of the Heart's Ember comet and a single, bold, indelible line of latitude, the one connecting his heart to hers. "It's not a destination, my love," she said, giving him a kiss that smelled of salt and ink. "It's the map of where we started. Come back for the next celestial event, and we will chart a new point." Cale sailed away. The most valuable treasure on his ship, a piece of paper that proved the universe's greatest magic wasn't the stars, but the line connecting two people. Ilara, the cartographer, went back to her work, now drawing her lines with a new appreciation for the space between them, forever looking up, knowing that even the most distant heart eventually follows its own orbit home,